Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Sunday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. Hey, is it me or is it dark? What the heck? Are you serious? What's going on here, folks? I don't know what's going on with the light. So, okay. Had a cool little day today. I tell you a couple things today. I was my aunt came back from Iran, so we spent with family. Right, my cousin's wife and their two kids were here. One is gonna turn 4 on Tuesday, and the girl is year and a half. Right, blew my mind. I gotta tell you, there's a couple of things I think it's just really cool. It just blows my mind because kids these days, right? So um, the year and a half, the year and a half old, we're sitting on the couch and she's just playing with the iPhone. She's just all over the phone, right? She's just playing the iPhone. She just goes from video to video, and it's just amazing, right? Cartoon to cartoon. And then she sees the charger to my phone, right? The plug, the actual plug. So she takes my phone. She's a year and a half. She takes the plug and starts plugging in my phone into the charger. At a year and a half. Just blows my mind. I was 6 or 7. I was excited. My dad got me an Atari. I know like 99% of you have no idea what that is. And then the 4-year-old, right? He's like he's my favorite. But he so he calls me Uncle Sean today out of nowhere, right? And I'm like, whoa, that's cool, man. I've never been called that. That's really cool. So I like that. That's pretty neat. I like this kid a lot. And then his mom says, "Oh yeah, when I scroll through Facebook, and he sees one of your lives, he says, that's Uncle Sean." So I'm going to give a shout out to Liam. Thank you. At least I know I have one fan. That is so cool. That's like so cool. I really appreciate that. So let's get into tonight. This is the one main ingredient. Not only you want to include, but you want to up it a notch. Whew, it was easier to write it down. And that is, you run into these people. You run into some people that you're like, and then you leave them, right? You leave, and then you're like, wow, that guy or that girl was amazing. Like, man, that just made me feel really good about myself, right? And then you meet somebody else, and then you leave, and then you're like, oh my goodness, like that was, I'm so glad that meeting is over. Like, I'm so glad, you know. And then you meet some people, and you're like, yeah, right, somewhere in between. And what makes a good speaker, a great speaker, in my opinion, is that they throw in this ingredient a lot. What makes a good conversationalist versus or a great conversationalist is that they throw this ingredient a lot. And this ingredient can go either way, right? You could have it in a negative way, or you could have it in a total positive way, right? If you haven't guessed it by now, like I said, you meet somebody, you're like, oh my goodness, they're amazing. I'd love meeting them. And then you meet somebody else, you're like, oh my goodness, I never want to meet somebody like that again, right? So if you haven't figured the ingredient, that's emotion. You know, you can have negative emotion, right? We've talked about that. We know that we can have negative, ugly, yucky emotion, and then you can have a good, positive, just emotions, right? But let me take it a little bit more than that, a little further than that, if you would. You know, you get on the stage, and let's say you're a speaker, and you get on the stage, and you're talking to the audience, right? You're talking to the audience, and let's say that you are the audience and I'm the speaker, and I get up on the stage and I just have this face and this monotone voice, and I say, this product is amazing. I have been here for a long time and I've been using these products and they are amazing. I'm trying to not give even an emotion on my eyebrows. And I think that it does great things and it's done wonders for my health. And I love this product and this company and this business is amazing and it's helped me with my. How long before you fall asleep? What was that? And then you get somebody on the stage and somebody on camera, and they're just moving and they're talking, they're raising their voice, they're lowering their voice, they're moving around, they're having gestures, they give you emotions, maybe they even cry, they laugh with you. Which one is more like, which one is more likely than you would not only refer but go back to, right? Probably go back to the, not the dull one, right? Who would want that, right? Let me flip the switch on you. Gotta flip the switch, right? What if you keep being the audience and I be the speaker? What if I'm this amazing speaker and I got all this emotion and I'm just giving you everything I got, like I'm pouring my heart out to you. Like I'm telling you just everything, my story, and I put a great speech together and then everybody, all of you, all the audience in the audience, for the entire conversation, for the entire speech, this is you. How long do you think before the speaker dozes off? The thing is this. You can be in a comedy show. Somebody's doing a stand-up. And they throw all these jokes at you. And the whole crowd is silent. Joke after joke, punchline after punchline. And you're like, how well do you think that guy is gonna do? That girl, that guy is gonna do on the stage? The thing with emotion is that it's kind of both ways. See, a speaker feeds off the emotion of his or her audience. And the audience feeds off the emotion of the speaker. It has to be both ways. If it's not, it's going to be imbalanced. It's not, somebody's going to go to sleep. I mean, it's just that simple. Somebody's like, it's got to be imbalanced. Got to feed off each other, right? Now, some have negative emotions and they love bouncing that off each other, right? doesn't really get you far in life, but that rocks your boat, you know. Um, you got some positive and you got a negative emotion, and just that's like a battle, right? So the positive emotion, one feeds off the other. And so if the audience is silent, the speaker is not gonna be able to pour his or her heart out. Is not gonna be able to deliver the message the way it was intended to be delivered, with all that just right. And the vice versa, the speaker, if there's like a, nobody's gonna go home with much value. Nobody's gonna go home. Not a lot of people are gonna go home with much value or much like lightning. And then it's not like, oh my goodness, he just blew my mind. Not a lot of people are gonna say that. It's both, right? Now, as emotions feed off each other, they can rise, right? Whether it's positive or negative. So you got to be really careful. If one is feeding off each other, it's naturally going to grow or just, right? But if it's in line together, like I say, if it's an audience and a speaker, an audience, my neighbor, that's awesome, downstairs, it's funny. They have this kid. Anyway, I digress. So they feed off each other, right? So if it's a negative emotion, so that's why, you know, if you're around a negative person, you're constantly feeding off each other and just gets darker and darker and darker. But if you're around a positive person, you're feeding off each other. You're like, yeah, 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 right? So it's important to keep an eye on your emotions. And it's important to include your emotions in whatever it is you're doing. Don't be, is emotionless a word? Don't be without emotions. Don't be, I recommend you express, right? I recommend you express your emotion, wherever it is. Whether or not the other, the crowd, the person, whatever it may be, whether they're responsive or not, you gotta include your emotions in there, because emotions are the flavor of anything, I believe. I mean, it's like having a steak without any seasoning or salt or anything. Well, that's a bad example because I'll probably eat a steak like that anyway. But any food without any flavor. Have you had any food that has that, like, no flavor? It's like that. So include your emotions in there. Don't be afraid, because if you're postured about around your emotions, and you know where it is, and you know where you are and all that stuff, then you know, be postured about your emotions, and share. Oh, put passion into it. You know what I mean? If you're doing a speech, if you're doing whatever it is you're doing, put that emotion is very important. It's very expressive. It's very important. So hopefully you guys get some love, some inspiration, some value from this live. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to my boy Liam again for being my fan. That is freaking, that just totally made my day. That's so awesome. I appreciate you guys, and drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. I appreciate you guys. And until tomorrow, when we do it all over again. Much love.